G'day, welcome back to part 2 of building your own smart file name creator. It's a little tool that we started on yesterday, and I'll give you a recap of where we got to because this is actually the second application in the 30-day challenge that we're working through. And so yesterday we were doing the perfect file name system and we ran into a lot of technical problems using Replit. So to give you a backstory, on day one, what we did was we built this little application. And so you can see here that it's tracking different applications that I want to build over 30 days. It was the app list tracker we did first. And then if we go to in progress, we can see that we're on the video recording named sequences application. And that's what we're working on today, but there are others all listed here. Now, yesterday in the live stream at around about the 9 to 10 minute mark, we started looking at the actual requirements documents that we wanted to build. That was going along fairly well. I'll talk about the changes I've made this morning. And then at around the 20-minute mark or the 23-minute mark,
anyway, let's move into
I ran into a lot of errors. So we can see here the agent encountered an error is the problem that we're dealing with here. And this happened about 4 or 5 times, and the way I dealt with it in the actual live stream was I kept reducing the instruction set for the requirements. We got to a point where something worked, but it was creating a desktop application in Python, which was not the goal of what I needed to do. So at that point, I called off the live stream. I thought, I'll reapproach it today. I've sent off a support call to Replit to see, just to let them know what's going on, and we'll see what happens. Now, let's talk about where we were yesterday. So yesterday we had a requirements document. And one of the things I thought about this morning as I was looking at it is that I've talked about one-shot prompts to build applications in one go, and the idea that the prompt should be relatively compact. It shouldn't do too much. And when I looked through the requirements here, there were a couple of things I wasn't happy with. I had this auto clipboard mode, a global trigger, and a bulk change handling. And I thought this is too much for the first iteration of the application. So I wanted to remove that. When I looked a little bit further and I saw the third-party integrations, I saw just this database concept being put there. When I did my research into Replit, I saw that they had 4 or 5 different types and that there was a default one, RepLDB. Now, what that meant was that I decided to, actually, before we look at that, there was one other aspect to this, which we will talk about in a second, is the UX requirements. I thought, this is not clear enough or simple enough what we've got here. It's open to interpretation, which is fine, but if I control the narrative on the user interface, then I have the ability to make it as simple as I want. And I believe that when it comes to UXs, I probably need a different tool than Replit to build them initially. So I want to keep it relatively simple. So what I did was I came over to a little chat window. I just had a simple conversation. This is where I worked out that it had a RepLDB. And I also had a little bit of a conversation about how I wanted the user interface to work. And it's come up with essentially a list columns with a bunch of editable fields for the chapter and segment number, the label and the metadata. And something I hadn't thought of yesterday was that the generated file name should show read only. Other than that, I had problems with the way it named it, it called it new chapter, but I think next chapter is in keeping because it also implies that the number increments. So I called it that and next part, and then I just gave some simple row actions that I wanted. So these are at the top of the list, these are down below. So I then went and had a look at the template and I improved it slightly. So the main changes is that the information around database and third-party stuff have been removed, and we've just got the database where it'll default to RepLDB, and we've got the app type which will default to web app if I do not provide it. Otherwise, it's relatively the same. I talked about yesterday the idea of custom instructions or system prompts. I really would like to see this done automatically as part of the code generation. When I did a bit of search on the documentation this morning on Replit, I didn't see it. It said it's not available. So I guess we've still got to provide it through the prompt. So what did we end up with? We ended up with this new requirements document. Everything's pretty similar except for the slight change here. Everything is in place as per yesterday, but we've reduced information. There's a little bit less. We've got a nice little example of how the files should be created, and we've got this decent little structured UX requirements going on. Now, with that, we've also got special instructions, explainability, error handling. Now, I have run this once this morning because, as I said, I had 4 different errors yesterday. I didn't know what to do, and I'll show you where we're at with it. I've only run it once. And the other thing to be aware of is that I'm going to run out of credits before the end of this 30-day challenge. So if you're interested in it, maybe you can use this referral link. What is it? David 1056. All that does for me is just give me an extra 10 credits, $10 of credits, which will be handy. Anyway, let's move over to the main view again, and we'll come back to what it built today. So essentially we have this, let's also bring up this view so we can see where we're working. So essentially, I just selected all the information that was here. I went from there all the way to the bottom. I didn't include this. This is the actual things that were changed. Replit DB, table-based UI, real-time file name generation, no explicit history implied through the database. So we're doing a list, so there should be a history, and a blank list on load. And I popped it in here, created it. This is exactly where we are. I haven't pressed a button yet, so I don't know what's going to happen after this. But it could be that our live stream finishes right now because we have a complete working app. Maybe not. Okay, so add row. In fact, I can already see that there's a couple of things missing because there were certain buttons that I was expecting above the top. But let's add the row and see what happens. Now, one of the things I haven't paid attention to is database, and I wonder how you see it. All tools. We got database, but that looks like Postgres, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. So I think I'll just add a row and see what we get. So we have a new row, and we got the file name, and it's 01, and it's part 1, and let's do it the way I would do. Now that should actually bring us back to what are we trying to do based on yesterday's conversation. So based on conversation yesterday, when I record a video, whether it be with Ecamm Live, which I'm using, or if you're using OBS, or if you're using Camtasia, this is what will happen. You'll end up with these files with a date time sequence, and they each have their own way of doing this. And the problem is this is not very readable. So what I like to do is, as I'm recording my segments or parts, I like to create an individual recording like we see here. So in this particular video from a week or 2 ago, I've got 40 recordings. It makes up 3.72 gigabytes of video recording, and I pulled them all into Gling, and that's how I created the video. I wonder if I should bring Gling up just for a second. I might just, no, I won't. If you want to use Gling, it's an incredibly powerful text-based editing tool for videos. So you can see here we've got, in the left-hand column, we've got the chapter number. This is how I like to think of things when I'm doing my videos. So the first chapter is the intro. Within it, there are 2 parts. There's the intro, and then there's the intro with a little bit of metadata. This is where I talk about the timestamps of the video. And then we go on to the next chapter, chapter 2, and we've got a bunch of parts, and well, we've got 4 of them, and this is just all related to the scenario. I don't really have any metadata here. So, by the way, some of the reasons I don't do enough metadata here is this is a bit tedious and manual, and this is why we're building a tool today. So let's come back to, I wonder if I should show it with that. Let's show it with that. And this gives us the ability to see that chapter 1, part 1 should just be an intro. Now, that went really slow. What is going on? Intro. Why has the typing gone really slow? I-N-T-R-O. Now that leads me to suspect that there might be some sort of REST call going on behind the thing. But if we look at the file here, o1-1-intro.move is what we would see here. Now, actually, looks like I don't use the O1. So this is a minor tweak that I might want to change to the application. Now, the other thing is we've got a copy button, which we haven't tested, and I don't know whether we've got a toast. Let's just go into the web view for a second. I wonder if we can make this bigger so you can see more. And we'll just press the copy button. Okay, now you can't see it, but below my image it said copied file name, copied to clipboard. So that's great. And I've added this editable field called the transcript because in a future iteration of this, maybe it'll be one of the apps we build in the next 30 days. I want to be able to take the transcripts and convert them into prompts and other sorts of research tasks. But for now, I'm just going to see if Command V pastes it in. And it does. Okay. Okay, cool. So that worked. Now, I think if we figure out where I think it's this one, DevTools. So let's go to DevTools and let's go to Network. And can we clear it? And we can. And what we'll do is we'll just add a new row. So far this application is working, but we are missing the next part, which doesn't seem like it's needed. You can just add a new row. And we're missing the next chapter. So maybe it's implying I need to type it in. But let's add a row and see what happens. So, didn't work. This is not what I want to see. I really want to be able to go next part and it automatically goes to 2. So we'll make that a 2. And we can see why everything is so slow because we got requests hitting us every time. So let's do a clear NTRO. So we're doing a request back to the server every time something happens. And we'll go to the metadata and I called that chapters. So CHAPTERS. Great. So, and it missed the R because it's very slow. Chapters. Okay. So I'll press the copy button and it works. Fantastic. So at this point, I don't want to use agents. Every time you use an agent, it'll cost you 25 cents. And I think I've just got 3 problems that I need to solve. So let's just bring up this window for a second. 3 simple problems that I have to solve. Can you turn them into 3 different prompts as instructions for the pair programming agent? We need a debounce or something like that on each time that you type. It's hitting the server every time without giving the user any time to type other information, and it's causing massive performance issues. What's the next problem? We have an add row button which works, but we should have had they essentially do the same thing as the add row button, but they know how to increment either the part or the chapter ID as we go. One final change that might be useful is that the chapter number should be formatted as a single digit. It's currently formatted as 0, 1. It should just be 1. Put this information in code blocks. Now the reason I'm putting them into code blocks is I just want to be able to click the copy button and take them over. Right, so I don't know where I should start. I'm going to start here and press copy. We'll head over to here, and then we've got to find the assistant. So that's what, no, that's the agent. So it's this one here. We'll click on that and we'll just paste in the first one. 300 milliseconds sounds good to me. I don't, one other change. Transcript button does not need, or does it? Because I guess it's saving, right? Yeah, okay. Let's go with that. Let's see what happens. So if we can do it in 3 prompts, it'll end up costing 15 cents, and then if this all worked correctly, we'll have built this application for 40 cents and maybe take about 10 minutes. Now, this doesn't always, generally this doesn't work the way I just said, but not yet. So I think as we go this time, I'm going to be looking at code. So do I click there or there? I assume they both do the same thing. Let's test it. Okay. Okay. We've got it on each of them. Okay. Apply all. Now we have a running application. No, we have an app crash. So let's ask, now can we see why? No, we can't. I'm not sure what that does. Open a web view. We've still got that available. And can we see any errors? Not yet, not here. Maybe it just worked. I wonder if we get to know the session, the whole application cost, because currently I've been looking at costs over here. If I do a refresh on this particular page, we'll see the total. We'll see the checkpoint costs. We'll see the assistance costs. Can you see the application? So the application is called Video Filename 4. And could be there, but my eyes are not being drawn to it just yet. Okay, let's come back here. And web view, what's it say? Okay, I can see from the console that there's a port conflict. The server is failing, is already, oh, we're in a previous, let's first kill. Okay, let's kill. Okay, so that's not a bug in the code. So that's good. radio run. Well, that might be because we ran it too. That might not be the original issue that happened, but we're here. Let's reduce this. Go to the web view for a second, and we'll add a row, and we've got a new row, and we'll say intro. It's still going slow. So N. Yep. TRO. Or this is the troubleshooting. So what happened to the other chat? So that's done a debug. We're in here. Assistant. I'm still having a lot of trouble. I think there's still a bunch of UX issues with this. Oh, look at that. They've got add a database here. This is back in the agents. So I was talking about this yesterday. There's not a unified view between when you're in agent and when you're in assistant, and not having that kind of, you've got to think in your head, well, where am I and how do I bring this stuff back together? I guess it's because at the moment they've built it in such a way that they think you're either working here or here, and I'm trying to work between the two different systems, and it's not that crash hot. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this has not been fixed. We'll run it. Just thinking. Okay. Debouncing logic is wrapped in use state to ensure. Okay, let's preview the code changes. It's done it a different way altogether. Okay, so here it was, I thought that felt really wrong, but okay, we've now got some logic. We'll apply all. It's doing its thing, and hopefully it's restarting. How will I know? So we'll add a row, and we'll say I. Let's just clear this for a second. Intro. Still not working. Okay. So we are still dealing with technical issues with Replit, but we're dealing with a totally different one. This should have been a simple fix for it. It should have just gone, yeah, I know how to do it. Let's fix it. It looks like it's fixed the code, but it's not working. Still not working. There is a pause every time I type into the field while it hits the server. Maybe you need to fix this, but you also might want to change the timeout to 1 second, because I'm not necessarily, this doesn't need to be incredibly responsive, especially while we're in debug mode. If we get the code working, we can go back and change the timeout ourselves manually. Yeah, and here's another issue that I wanted the custom instruction for, and I don't think it's in there, is I want detailed logging, because we should be able to see when the key press is happening, as well as when the request is happening. Let's just apply it. Do we want to look at it? Okay, cool. We'll apply it. And it's refreshing. So that's, I just need to remember that if it happens, it says, okay, fix the bug about use effect, not defined. Okay. Now, if I'd have used the agent, that probably wouldn't have happened. So that's one of the things that I would believe you're getting with the 25-cent call, is that there's a lot more chain of thought going on into it. Here it's just doing what I said and not considering the implications of what's going around it. So as I learn this, I'm making a supposition there. I don't know for sure. I just believe this is what's going on. Okay, and this is now working. Let's click on it and we'll just type in intro. Hey, awesome. And then the saves happen. Cool, 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 cool bananas. Let's add another one. Now, we haven't done our buttons yet. Now I'll press 2, 1, 2. Yep. And I'll type in, and now I'll try and type it all in one hit. So let's just clear our screen and we should get something. We'll see what we get. Intro space chapters. I don't think that worked properly. It was faster. Maybe it's just happening in parallel. Okay, well, we'll leave that. So let's test this. This is working. Copy it and we'll clear and we'll just paste that in. It's updated the database there. Paste that one in. Great. Cool. They're working perfectly. Okay. Let's add a couple more capabilities. So we've fixed the D bounce. Let's go and paste this one in. Now, again, we got 5 cents. Look at that. That's how you figure it out. So we've used 20 cents and we've used 5. I can't see maybe it's the first one. I don't know. But what's that say? Run in shell, refresh. All up, it looks like we've got a total cost is 20. So this is going to be more expensive than using the agent if the agent works, right? That's a critical statement. Currently it has, okay, so we're testing the one that goes replace the add row and next chapter with next chapter and next part. That's what we want to do. That should increment the chapter number. That should keep the same but increment the part number. I'll help you replace. Let's just quickly have a gander at the code and see what we got. It says 2. Are they both listed? Yeah, they are. Okay. So add row, bunch of row buttons. Okay, I'm not going to look at the code too much. I'm just going to apply. It looked good. It wasn't styled nicely, but it looked like it had the right buttons. Next chapter. Excellent. Intro. Copy. Paste. Clear. Next part. Oh, sweet. It should really copy the label down, but that's okay. Intro. Chapter. No. Screwed up a little bit. Chapters. What's going on? Don't know. Copy. let's come over here for a second. Can you add in another change request? When we go to the next part, which is working correctly, it should actually be keeping the existing label, which is the chapter name. Can you also merge this prompt question with the format chapter numbers without leading zeros? So we'll solve this problem in the next prompt. The next prompt was about turning the 01 into a 1, but I'm also going to potentially fix this problem at the same time. So we come into here, format chapter numbers, preserve the label when adding. So we'll attempt a 2-in-1 scenario, but let's test the one button we didn't do. Next chapter, this should go to 02. It does. And it's 1 for the part, which is perfect. So here I would type in scenario. That's probably in a video. I would do an intro. Then I might do an intro with timestamps, which is chapters. Then I might do a scenario. What are we talking about in the video? The first part of the intro is the hook. So far we're working. Press copy and we test. And we're looking sweet. This is great. Okay, let's copy this information over here. Let's go in here and paste it. So 2 problems that it's trying to rectify. I wonder if I keep going, because this is actually going to be a useful tool for me. And this is where I needed other capabilities. There was another capability that I wanted, and that was a button that said, or maybe it's a checkbox that says auto clipboard. And if it's turned on, the information for the file name should automatically go into the clipboard as I'm updating things. Cool. Let that go. And I'm just going to apply. I'm trying to keep things very simple so that it should succeed. It should succeed. You think I wasn't a native English speaker? Can't even say my words right. Okay. Next chapter. Let's get rid of this for a second. 1-1. This is looking. But the file name is wrong. Oh no. Oh no. You did not update the file name code. I wasn't thinking of that. It is still formatting with 2 digits for the chapter. Let's just make that change while we're here. Another 5 cents. Good thing is now that I should have always started from this and just thought of this as a formatting issue, not as a data issue. Don't know why I did that. We'll press apply. Okay, next one, intro. Copy. Next part. Chapter, oh no, we'll just go with intro chapters. Now if I paste, we have the old one, that's fine. Put in the new one, great. Next chapter. And we'll go scenario. This is good, and we'll do a new part, and we'll go, okay. It didn't preserve. Why did it not preserve? Okay, I thought I'd put that in. So we'll just go and copy this information. We'll say label preservation is not working. When you add a part label, aka let's paste that in, and now implement auto clipboard feature is next. So I'm going to make I'm going to make an assumption that it's going to work. I pressed copy, but press apply. I'm going to copy this information and I'm going to just get it prepared here. This is the next feature we're doing. One, intro. Next part, it's not working. It's just not working. Okay. FU. Okay. Why is it not working? What did it do? Should have found the okay. The code is still not working, and you're also not giving me debug information, so I can't even see the values such as the last row in chapter. So can you give me some better logging, and can you fix this problem? So when I'm doing agent workflows for myself, I'm usually doing them around content creation and different stuff. And I have the main agent that does work, and this is what we're doing here. It's like a little agent that's calling stuff, or I've got the main prompt in the workflow. And then I've got other predicate prompts. So a predicate is something true or false, right? And so from that, I can go, well, does it have documentation? True or false? And if it doesn't, I can run like enhancement prompts. Like, can you make sure that the code doesn't change except that we add documentation or that we add logging? And this, I think, is a pattern that we're going to see a lot of in agent workflows, and it's something that they need to put into this. I think just this secondary agents that run after every agent based on what the developer would like it to do. So fixed the missing, let's just press apply, and we will not waste our time again. Like if it doesn't work, it'll just have to be FU. So new, and we go intro, we'll do a clear, next part, FU. Yeah, not working, stupid code. Do we have, yeah, not trying to fix it. I just want one more capability. I can always take it offline and do it. I would like this capability turned on. Yeah, let's see whether that works. So if this works, we should get a new button. You would think that it's a global sort of concept. Does it belong here or does it belong up the top of the page? When I initially asked for the design, that's what I wanted. And this is again where I would be more inclined to use a design tool, especially something that I could run from GPT to build out the mock before we ever started. Would have made this more predictable. Not better, just more predictable. It's not that these get it wrong, they just don't necessarily do it the way you think about. At the same time, where they can do it better than you is that they have more experience with more code bases than you do. So it can be good from that point of view. So let's apply whatever it did. We may do a rollback. This is almost the end of the session, I think. I will explain one of the main core capabilities I'd love this to have. Look at that. Is that it? It doesn't say anything. Well, let's just go new chapter, intro, paste. So not working. Copy, working. Next, David. Now, paste, not working. Turn on, not working. Appy Dave. Can't spell. Paste. Ooh, that's cool. Okay, this tool is not complete, but and I will talk about that one capability that I would love it to have. It's a couple of additional buttons, but we're not dealing with it today. Let's look at our total cost. So our total cost is 50 cents. So the live stream today is 40 minutes. I guess it's about 20 minutes of coding time. I'm not working from the idea that I know how to write in React or JavaScript or anything like that. I can look at code and go, yeah, okay, that seems to be doing something. But it's just not an area that I code in on a normal day-to-day basis. So and that's why I'm not, if you're a developer, you might see things much more clearly than I do. But if you're more of a business owner, you can see how I'm breaking things down into simplistic prompts. You can check out how I was getting GPT to write simplistic prompts. Now, this is an area I would turn into a workflow, to be honest, because I want to make sure it doesn't do anything too big in this area when you're using the assistant. But the great thing is I got a tool which will save me a ton of time, an absolute ton of time, and it cost me 50 cents. Like, awesome. This is wonderful. Now let's just come back to here and let's show it with the application. What I really want is 2 more buttons up here, which I might do later. What should be able to do, let's look at this folder, open folder in iTerm. We've got it, bring up a terminal for you all. And for some reason, ZSH wants to update, and we'll just do an LSA. And what we can see is here's all the files that are currently in that folder, plus there's a couple that I need to clean out. Let's change that. Now, I can do an ls space, what is it, to clipboard. I can do the ls to clipboard. So if I do that and I press enter, and I didn't realize I had that window going, but that'll do. Let's put this in here. Now, all those files happen to be here. This is the good thing. Now, with that, we got a file here down the bottom, if you can see it, which is malformed, mainly because this is actually the video that they probably all came together into. Not sure. I don't think it is, but you get what I mean. So that video I would not want in the list, but the rest of them I do. So what I really want to do is have a little button here. Then we'll bring in VS Code as well. I want a little button that when I press it, will run that command, will give me just that command in the clipboard, right? Now I know it's a PS pipe PB copy, but I just want it to be really easy. So I press the button and it says PS pipe, it says what command will give me all my current videos? And it'll just put PS pipe PB copy into my clipboard. Then I can go down to that folder, run it, and the running of it puts those files into the thing. So like if I just change this, I've got David or ADF here, right? But I'll just run my little command once and then paste it in. I've now got all the files. So you go, okay, one button will get me the list of files essentially without actually reading my computer. I've still got to go down to the computer and run it. And then the second file, the second button that would be here is import. So the way I envisage like keeping this tool in sync with my file system is just run the 2 buttons. The first one to go get the files. The second one should just repopulate the database with stuff. Another thing that we didn't do if we come in over here is we didn't add in a database, so this is all in memory, which is probably fine. What have I gone to? That's the wrong view. That's too many Daves. We haven't added the database. I don't think it's needed in this variation of the tool right now. But yeah, cool. So as I build out the 30 applications over 30 days, I hope, like it's taken 2 days with application 2. If this is sort of stuff that you want more information on, maybe you want prompts, I don't know, just let me know down in the comments what you actually do want, and I'll see what I can do. Hopefully it's just as simple as adding a new entry into the app list tracker. Maybe I'll expand it with notes from different people. We'll see what goes on. If you want to connect with me directly, if you head over to the About section, there'll be contact information that you can reach out to me on. But if truly you just want to support this little project, just use the sign up link. It'll give me $10 of credits, and that way I'll be able to go a little bit harder into some of these capabilities that at the moment I just don't want to. I just want to spend my $25 a month and see what I can play around with. Anyway, I'm Happy Dave. Have a great day. Where's the button? Finish the broadcast. Thank you.